Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, I'm back under my truck here, and a little confession here. I made a video about replacing the O2 sensor in this truck. Unfortunately, it was a fiasco, both in filming and in getting it done, because obviously it's boogered up. And to tell the whole truth here, it's because I didn't do my homework on the internet. When I pulled the O2 sensor out, it was quite difficult, as it usually is. It also seized in there. All the threads stayed in when the O2 sensor came out. Well, when I went to tap it out, I kind of guessed on the size and used a 3/4 inch tap instead of an 18 millimeter, which if I would have went online, I would have noticed that pretty much all the sensors are 18 millimeter. 18 millimeter by 1.5 or 1.2 thread, I don't know, do your own homework when it comes to that, and it's one of those two. So it's a fine thread, 18 millimeter is what you'd want to tap it out with, and then you wouldn't have to go through all of what I'm doing right now. And basically what I tried to do first was, well, weld it back up. But when I went to tap it back out, it destroyed my tap, because weld is, and I knew it was going to be hard, but it was more hard than I thought it would be. So it wouldn't tap it out. All it did was kind of destroy the threads on my tap. Anyhow, so what I wound up doing was going and buying the BUNG. Yes, I said BUNG. Everybody seems to get a kick out of that word. Anyhow, so I gotta drill this out, which I found my hole saw, which is close to the size. I'm going to drill that out, hopefully, without destroying my drill. I may have to use a little bigger one, but anyway, just get yourself a hole saw. Whoop. And I'm hoping this will work. We're gonna see. And then I'm gonna weld this BUNG back in here. So alright, well, I'm probably a little more than halfway through this 1/4 inch hole saw. Seems to be about the right size, seems to be doing well. I just wanted to show you a little bit of progress in the middle here. Alright, I'm having trouble with my card saying it's not formatted to this camera, so hopefully this all turns out, you guys. Maybe a little blurry or something, I don't know. Anyhow, I got the BUNG almost all the way out, but I don't want it to fall in there, so I don't know, nut driver, I guess. Pulled that out. Popped out right perfect. So anyhow, I got that out. I'm gonna take my handy dandy air die grinder here and clean the hole up good. And I might have to hog it out a little bit, because that's good. Well, no, that's about right. A little bit of welding and we'll be good to go. So anyhow, YouTube, hindsight and all, I made enough mistakes on this, and so I'm going to take and make sure that this BUNG is actually going to thread in here. And alright, it looks like it's going to go in there alright. So I can go ahead and weld this thing up, and it should, hopefully, fingers crossed, all start working correctly. You want to be careful, you don't want to get any of these. These come with anti-seize on them, and you don't want to get this anti-seize up into these little sensor thing here. Don't want to really be messing that up and gumming it up. Hopefully I didn't just do it. But anyhow, I'm going to put that back on there, put it back in the box. It looks like it'll work. And even though there's anti-seize already on it, I would strongly recommend putting more on, because if you've ever done one of these, you know it's a bear to get out. So we're going to weld that sucker in there, and I'll get back at you. Alright, I got this rare earth magnet right here, just out of a computer that I scrapped, holding in the BUNG. This hole is maybe a little big for this. I'm going to have to fill in a few gaps here, but I don't know, when I tested it, this was actually the hole that say this right, the hole saw was actually a little smaller around here, but the hole just, I think, from kind of having to kind of go around a little bit and cut around it, kind of wallered it out a little bit. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm using that magnet, got it in there. We're going to tack weld her up and try and, okay, I'll go ahead and say it, get her done. See if you can see me, hopefully. Before I did any welding on this, I made sure I disconnected the battery cables. I just disconnected both, because most people say disconnect the negative, and I understand that, sort of. I know the reasoning. I used to know exactly why, but I don't remember what the reasoning is behind that. But I just disconnected the positive and negative. There's absolutely no chance that something's going to ground out and fry my computer, hopefully. So anyhow, disconnect your battery before you weld on your car. Oh crap. Shoot. Well, here we go again. In the midst of welding, I just lost it a little bit up here and ended up in the threads, and I cannot get it tapped out. I'm gonna have to drill this thing out, go buy another one of these, and I'm gonna have to find a bolt that I can stick in there. Normally I would stick whatever it was I was probably welding kind of down in there to keep the threads from getting bunged up, but I'm not sticking a over $60 part down in there to keep the threads from getting bunged up. So I'm gonna have to find a bolt that'll go down into the nut and protect those threads. Well, yet again, live and learn. You guys will hopefully learn a whole lot from my mistakes in this one. This has been a 3-day project now, so, and I'm alright YouTube, I don't know what this flux core weld stuff is, welding wire is made out of, but whatever it is, it's extremely hard. So I used a combination of my cutoff wheel and then finished it off the best I could by drilling it out, which gave me a pretty boogered up hole, but we're going to go with it because I don't want to make it any bigger because it's already starting to get too big for the new BUNG. So this is like the 10th different thing I've done and screwed up on. But that aside, we're going to try and weld a new BUNG in here, and this time I got a bolt that sort of fits in there. It'll hopefully keep all the crap out of it. Should be able to put that in there, weld it in, and hopefully it'll work. And I tell you, I don't know if I already said it, but basically what happened with the last one is I just wasn't paying good enough attention with the welding helmet on. It's just difficult to see where you're welding, and I went down a little bit too far and right into the threads and bunged it up again. But anyhow, jokes aside, we'll get it done. Hot. Alright, well, it's far from perfect, but it's welded in there, it's ground down. There's a few pit holes, but they don't go all the way through. I may put some sort of heat, temperature paint of some sort to keep the rust maybe off of it, or at least down a little bit. But we're going to try out the O2 sensor and see if it actually screws in here. Cross your fingers for me, would you? A little prayer wouldn't hurt either. Alright, this moment of truth, I let it cool off, ground it down. We are hoping and praying that this will go in here. I hope. Oh, I'm breathing a little easier here. I tell you, this has been a complete nightmare. I'm going to take that out, throw some anti-seize on there, and plug this back up in there. You guys don't need to see all that. The main part of this video is just to kind of show you that, although it may take a little while, you can usually fix just about anything. If you bung up your bung hole like I did, go grab one. I got this actually at NAPA, and I wish I could remember. I will try and find that piece of paper that kind of says, but it's not actually an O2 sensor bung, but it is for exhaust systems. Excuse that dog you've been hearing in the background. My neighbor got a new puppy. Cute little thing, but man, does it like to bark all day long. Anyhow, the O2 sensor is now officially done, I hope. We'll see when I put it up in there and make sure everything works alright. But it should tighten down fine. It's definitely in there. Hopefully no problems. This is Sam, jack of all, obviously master of none, but I always get it done.